Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, the Yankees take care of business, winning the first game against the Cleveland Guardians in the American League Divisional Series, 4-1. Got a good, solid start for the New York Yankees, and a lot of stuff to be happy about this win. Strong start from Gerrit Cole, just enough for Yankee offense, and of course, Aaron Boone towards the end there, able to piece the bullpen together to squeak out the win. And, as I mentioned before, the bullpen is probably going to be the Yankees, Achilles heel throughout this process, but at least for his first game, Yankees are able to take care of business. 4-1 against the Cleveland Guardians. So we'll get into all that. And of course, mention some injuries. Again, it wouldn't be any Yankee news or any Yankee update without an injury. So a couple of key devastating ones. We'll get into that. But before we do, make sure you subscribe to this podcast. So I mentioned before, this is exclusive content, only for podcast subscribers. So wherever you listen to this right now, make sure you subscribe and get recaps after each game, after each series as we go along. And not making any predictions here, but hopefully it's a deep run. So hopefully there's plenty of episodes to come up where we can talk about some Yankee exciting wins here, and this was a good one. Now, if we look going to this game, of course, the Yankees got what they wanted. Whether it was going to face Tampa or face Cleveland, again, the Yankees had a better shot. The better path to the American League Championship Series was going to be facing the Cleveland Guardians. Again, Yankees historically, recent history, have been better against them. They were 5-1 against them in the regular season, and of course, Tampa, always, somehow it has the Yankees number. So, the Yankees got their way with Cleveland sweeping that series 2-0. Now, the second game took 15 innings, and it took a walk-off home run against Corey Kluber to do it, but nevertheless, Cleveland was able to get by and do the Yankees' favor, get by Tampa. And so the Yankees then hosted the Cleveland Guardians now for the first round of the American League Divisional Series. Now, a couple of things going into this game worth noting. Of course, now this comes up at the wake of the Mets being beat and eliminated by the San Diego Padres 2-1. And it does have some ramifications on the Yankee game, because in that game, the first game, Matt Scherzer, again, he was kind of the big arm the Mets brought in there, the combination of Scherzer and DeGrom was probably going to be the Mets' key to sailing, at least for them to make a deep postseason run. Unfortunately, for Scherzer and the Mets, he was absolutely bombed in the first game, and the Mets dropped that first game 7-1. Now, the Mets did come back in game two. Now, DeGrom, wasn't like a shut. He didn't give a dominating performance, but it was very good. And it was gritty, and he was able to hold the fort down until the Mets offense was eventually able to get to the Padre bullpen, and the Mets were able to at least tie that series 1-1, which then came game three with Chris Bassett on the mound against Musgrove, and it was a game where Musgrove just basically mowed the Mets down, and Bassett eventually would fall behind 4-0. Again, he was the Mets' number 3 starter there, and the Mets would end up dropping that final game, and in a performance where their offense only had just one hit in the 5th inning, and they were shut out in this game. So very disappointing for the Mets, a team that won 101 games, whittled out in the first round there. And again, what was supposed to be the Mets' strong part of their whole makeup was supposed to be the starting pitching, and 2 out of 3 performances were lousy, and overall the offense didn't show up in games 1 and 3. And just the idea that, Scherzer was the big prize they brought in. Again, gave him like a 3-year deal. He's making $43 million per year. Yeah, he's up there in age, but again, still considered one of the best starters in baseball. And, very, very, very likely possibly a future Hall of Famer, but came up short for the Mets, got bombarded in the Atlanta series, and of course got smoked in game 1. And you say, well, what does that have to do with anything with the Yankee game? Well, that does put pressure on Cole, because we have to go, wind the clocks back 1 year. Cole took a lot of heat for that game, the 1-game playoff up in Fenway where the Yankees lost 2-0 there. Cole gave up 2 runs, didn't have a strong performance, didn't give the Yankees any length. Again, now he was dealing with that hamstring issue, but nevertheless, a lot of people got on Cole for that one, say he didn't pitch like the ace. And of course, now you backed it up with this 2022 season, which Cole only won 13 games. And again, it wasn't garbage, but did not have a good year, for Cole standards and what he's being paid $30 million a year. So now you look at this game, and it does put pressure on Cole, because he looks at his performance last year in that 1-game wild card where he was not good for the Yankees, did not pitch like an ace whatsoever, has not pitched like an ace overall in 2022. So again, compounded with that, now everyone's looking across town. This is the way Scherzer bombed, and now the Mets, petered out in the first round of their playoff hunt. That pushed a lot of pressure on Cole to have a good game in this game 1. And look, you have to give it to him. He did answer the bell on that. And not only that, you look at the game before that, Seattle facing the Astros in the other divisional series in the American League there, and Seattle was up big in this game. And you look, hey, maybe these guys are going to pull up the upset. And they'll be doing the Yankees a big favor if they can knock off Houston. And they were just about to do that. They were up by 2 runs in the 9th inning there. But with 2 on, they decided to bring in Robbie Ray. Now he's a starter, but they figured to go lefty on lefty against Alvarez, and Alvarez hitting a dramatic 3-run walk-off home run for the Houston Astros. So now you have that on the plate, and Cole must have just got wind of that as he's warming up, because, again, the game's kind of the Astro-Seattle game was right before the Yankee-Cleveland game. So now you add that pressure onto Cole to have to win this game. And, again, with all that in mind, and, again, with fans kind of questioning whether he's a real ace or not, and he has to hearing some guff throughout the 2022 season, you have to give it to the guy that he did come up big in this game and answered all those questions there. Now, the news before the game, not good for the Yankees. One of the pieces that we're hoping to have in the bullpen, again, the bullpen is going to be a big question for the Yankees. Now, it wasn't tonight, but it's going to be as we go along throughout this playoff hunt there. Scott Efros, who, again, the Yankees shut down for a while with some shoulder issues, did come back, pitched a little bit, but now it turns out he's going to need Tommy John surgery. So now he's done indefinitely, of course, during this playoff series, and he might possibly miss almost all of next season. And again, that's someone the Yankees counted on. They got him at the trade deadline. He was effective for the Yankees, a good kind of sidewinder righty there who's effective both against righties and lefties. And now that's a weapon the Yankees are not going to have during this postseason run. So they got that. And then another bigger issue for the Yankees is DJ LeMahieu. Now, originally, of course, we know he had the hurt toe. And again, that was kind of nursing along for a bit. He went there IL for a while, came back, hit a little bit, nothing great, nothing where you say, wow, DJ's back. But at least he was in there. You figure, all right, he was getting healthier. They'll give him a cortisone shot. Well, now they looked at the foot even further, and it turned out it's not just a fractured toe injury he's dealing with. Actually, the fracture in the foot, and supposedly the fracture from the foot actually kind of webbed out or expanded to the toe. So that's why they initially thought it was a toe injury. Turns out it's a foot injury, and he's out indefinitely for this divisional series. And I say he might possibly come back for this championship series, but it looks doubtful. So now he looks like he's shut down for 2022. So 2 big blows by the Yankees. And again, just more stuff on Cole's plate as he makes this game 1 start for the New York Yankees. Now, opposing to him was Cal Quantrill for Cleveland. Now, Quantrill, that name might sound familiar with you. No, it should. So about 18 years ago, his father, Paul Quantrill, was the pitcher for the Yankees. Was actually quite decent, and I had a good mix there. It was Quantrill, Tom Gordon, and of course Mariano Rivera. So it wasn't as effective as Nelson Stanton Rivera, but it was rather good there. But unfortunately, it did fade out a little bit, and Quantrill ended up giving a huge home run to David Ortiz during that 0-4 calamity in the ALCS when the Yankees ended up blowing the 3-0 lead there. So Quantrill might be known for that, but overall, Quantrill was a rather effective pitcher in his brief time with the New York Yankees, and now his son facing up against the Yankees. So it was Cole and Quantrill for Game 1, and Cole again, he gutted this one out in the first inning there with 1 out. Kind of Fleffer come up with an error, put the runner Rosario on first base. He would end up stealing second during a strikeout of Jose Ramirez, and then with the runner on second base, again runner scoring position with 2 outs. Cole with another strikeout, so back-to-back strikeouts, this time against Josh Naylor to get out of the jam there. So again, picking up his teammate IKF there, getting 2 big strikeouts, and that'll be kind of the way the rest of this game. And Cole had a couple of times that the Indians would threaten, but Cole would buckle down and get out of the jams, and that was kind of the theme along the way, especially in second inning as well. Andres Jimenez would double with 1 out. But with the next two batters up, Will Brennan and Austin Hedges, Cole would strike both of them out and again get out of the jam there. So again, Cole, whether it was his own doing or picking up a teammate, getting some big strikeouts to get out of the jams there. But unfortunately, Cleveland would eventually get to Cole in the 3rd inning. Stephen Kwan, who had a pretty good game for himself, he lined out hard in the 1st inning, but in the 3rd inning did a little bit better. With the solo home run, so put Cleveland on the board 1-0 there. And Cole started to lose it a little bit, and this was the moment where you figured maybe Cole might falter. This is the point where you figure, you kind of like, is Cleveland going to do to the Yankees what, the Padres did to the Mets? And it kind of seemed like this might be the inning that happened. Right after that, Cole would hit Rosario with a pitch, so that put Rosario on. Right after that, the dangerous Jose Ramirez would double. So now you have runners on second and third, but Cole would buckle down. He would get a Naylor out on a fielder's choice, so both runners would not be able to score. And then after that, a Gonzalez ground ball. Now Rosario was on third, broke for home, but he was gunned out. After that, Cole would get a strikeout of Jimenez. So again, Cole, with runners on second, third, one out. You figured just one hit there or anything, Cleveland could easily be up 3-0 in that situation. But Cole able to get a couple of key ground outs and then a big strikeout of Jimenez to get out of that jam. So again, Cole pitching like an ace. Again, not dominating, not very super sharp, but again, gutsy and making some big pitches when he needed to. But then the Yankee offense would reward him in the bottom of that same inning. Harrison Bader, again, the new Yankee, the center fielder, would tie the game 1-1, a solo home run to left field. And now for a lot of Yankee fans want to look back, he criticized the trade for Montgomery. Well, where's Montgomery right now? Well, right now, Montgomery and the Cardinals are eliminated, so they're at home watching the games. And Bader, who, the Yankees got for Montgomery in that deal, he hits a humongous home run just to put the Yankees on that board and kind of, maybe Yankee fans could breathe a sigh of relief. And then from there, the Yankee offense would get to work a little bit. Now, Donaldson in the fifth inning would hit a single. Now, he tried to stretch it out, tried to make it to a double there, but then the right fielder kind of threw it in, got gunned out a bit of a rundown. So a little bit of a base running blunder there, but nevertheless, the Yankee teammates would pick him up. IKF, who had a big error in the first inning there, didn't end up costing the Yankees, but he would be the beneficiary of an error. So he would hit a single to right field, to the right fielder there, Oscar Gonzalez. He ended up bobbing the ball a little bit, allowed IKF to go to third. So now you had a runner at third base with less than one out. And then Jose Trevino did the right thing. Again, just made some contact. Easy sac fly. IKF was able to score. And at that point, the Yankees were able to take the lead 2-1 there. And in the sixth inning, that was probably the turning point of the game. Now, Judge would lead off with a walk against Quantrill. And Judge didn't really have a great game overall. Had 3 strikeouts, but, the sixth inning was probably his best contribution because he drew the walk. And then with the walk, as he's done all season, being sneaky fast, went to steal second. Now, a throwing error by the catcher. Way off. The ball ended up going to center field, and Judge had the wherewithal to recognize that. Ran to third base, so now you had a runner at third with Rizzo up, with nobody out. Now, Rizzo could have went for the sac fly there, but Rizzo did one thing better, actually did the best thing you could do in that situation, ended up hitting a 2-run home run. And this was, again, really the big blow of the game, put the Yankees up at this point 4-1 there. And at this point, you just felt all the momentum was on the Yankees side. The fans were pumped up. Any kind of anxieties that the Yankees had in the first couple of innings with Cole there kind of, seemed like, he was on the ropes a little bit. That kind of all went away, and you kind of felt this from that moment. You know what? The Yankees probably got this one. But it wouldn't be too easy because, again, you had to worry about the bullpen, which was going to be the Yankees' bullpen, as I mentioned before, the problem going into this. So now Cole would pitch into the seventh inning, would have one out, but with one runner on, and his pitch count just a little over 100. He had like 101, 102 pitches. Boone decided to take him out, and I think it was the right call. People might say, "Hey, let him finish the inning. It's only 100 pitches," but again, it's a possibility Cole might come back on short rest there. So I think at that point it was the right time to take Cole out. And he'd already gone through the Cleveland lineup a couple of times already, and you want him leaving feel on a high note there. At that point he was up 4-1. Pitched very well in the game, and I think he's want to leave him good there. Just from the bad taste of last year's wild card game, and of course this season kind of being a bumpy year for Cole a little bit. So I think that was the right time to take out Cole. And now this was going to be a big test for Loizaga. Like I mentioned before, that he's going to have to be one of the guys that steps up. Now Loizaga has some playoff experience with the Yankees, but again, this is going to be the first time in a real kind of high leverage situation where, again, he's going to be dependent on whether it's the seventh, eighth inning to get those big outs, and he's got to come through just because there's no one else left. Everyone's down. Britton's down. Chapman's gone. MIA. He's off. He's not even on the roster. And again, I don't even think he'll be in a Yankee uniform anymore. So it's going to be up to someone like Loizaga to get some big outs. Now, Quan, who again had a great night, work a full count, end up getting a single there, and there was one runner on it already. So now you had runners on first and second with only one out, and this was going to be a big test for Loizaga. And yeah, look, you have to tip their hat to him. He did come through at this one. Now Rosario's up, and Loizaga was jamming him inside. Eventually got Rosario to hit a fast chopper up the field there, but kind of Fleffer, positioned perfectly, able to field the ball at second base, tag second base on his own, and then made the easy throw out the first. So bang, bang, double play there in a big spot. and get a good test for Loizaga, and get, at least for his first test day, he came through in a big way. Now Loizaga didn't look overly dominating, didn't look like, wow, he blew that guy away. Now you can feel good about him. Again, did struggle with the control a little bit. He wasn't that great, fine-tuned on the corners there, but when he needed to get the big double play grounded, he got it. So look, you got to tip your cap to him. And it's just kind of interesting with the way kind of Boone did this. Instead of like having a pitcher come out for a clean inning, he kind of did a lot of overlapping. So again, he had Cole start the seventh, let Cole at least get one out. Now Cole did let a batter on there, so then that's when he went to Loizaga, and Boone would do the same thing in the eighth inning. He started the inning with Loizaga, but Loizaga would give up a single to Ramirez, and that's when Boone went to the bullpen for Peralta there. And again, Peralta was kind of missing towards the end of the regular season, just with some back issues. It was on the IL, but made available for the divisional series, and he's going to be huge because, again, no Chapman there, so the only lefties the Yankees have to rely on is going to be Peralta and Lutke, and obviously in this situation, you're going to go to Peralta, and he did his job there, able to induce a ground ball double play, so it kind of wipes out the Ramirez leadoff single, and then strike out the next batter after that. So great, first performance by Peralta, in the 2022 playoffs there. And Peralta would do the same thing. Instead of starting a clean inning with Holmes in the ninth, Peralta would at least start that inning and do his job again, get his fourth out there, a ground out. So then it left Holmes with only have to getting 2 outs for the save. And Holmes hadn't pitched in a while. They shut him down for the last remaining games of the regular season. I remember he was dealing with the shoulder injury a little bit, and they gave him a cortisone shot, a little soreness there. So he actually hadn't thrown a pitch in a while. And one of the problems with Holmes, as you mentioned, just kind of with that sinking fastball, he comes out a lot of times and he hits a lot of batters just because he's trying to get control of that sinking, and he either goes down and hits someone in the foot or hits someone on the side there, and he did just that. So the little first pitch he threw against pitch hitter Owen Miller ends up hitting him, so you're kind of grumbling a little bit. Oh, my God. Now, the Yankees at this point have the 4-1 lead, so you don't feel like he's going to blow at this point, but you're like, oh, my God, the first pitch you do that. But to Holmes' credit, he's able to buckle down there, able to get a ground out after that with 2 outs, and then after that, the final out against center fielder Miles Straw. And remember, Straw's the center fielder when they, during that little melee at the very beginning of the season. Remember when the Yankee fans were throwing beers and stuff at him? That was the game where Kwan actually ran into the wall, and some Yankee fans out in the left field bullpen are kind of making fun of him. Miles, Straw didn't like that too much, so kind of jawed back with the fans a little bit, and that's when they, when the Yankees had the walk-off win, some of the Yankees in the right field bleachers then started throwing spears and sodas and whatnot at the Cleveland outfielders, and I guess the Yankee fans kind of zeroed in on Miles for that one, and obviously, were taunting him the entire game, and even that final game, you heard some quite explosive language from the crowd, which I'm not going to repeat here. But he was the final out. He would fly out to Bader and center there, and the Yankees come through with a 4-1 win, give the win to Cole, and give the save to Holmes. And you got to look at the Yankee bullpen, kind of a bit of a piecemeal, but they got the job done. And it's just, it was just kind of a relief off the shoulders for the Yankees. And I think almost for New York fans collectively, I'm sure there's a lot of Met fans out there that are rooting against the Yankees. But I guess just the way that Scherzer lost that first game to the Padres, it's just good to get that first win against the opponent. So I just think it was a big relief off the Yankees' shoulders just for the way this game went down. For Cole to have a good performance, and just the Yankees have just enough offense and the bullpen just to do enough to close out this game. It's not a bullpen you look at that says, wow, they were dominant, they were great. So you're still going to hold your breath a little bit, but this is probably the way the Boone's going to have to do it now. Again, instead of your traditional way of just bringing someone out for a clean inning of the 7th, the 8th, and 9th, he's probably going to let, if someone pitched the previous inning and if you want to get an extra batter or two, he's probably going to do that because he's just going to have to piece this together right now until someone like Holmes proves that he's back fully and he can just start the 9th himself and not need, someone else to get an out for him. So, but until that's proven, that's look like, that's the way the Yankees are going to have to do this. Now, the next game, the Yankees are going to be off a Wednesday. The next game is scheduled for Thursday. Now, it's looking like the forecast isn't going to be too kind for the Yankee Stadium, so possibly that game's going to have to move to Friday. Now, Friday was a built-in off day anyway, so it wouldn't be a big deal. But the second game is going to be Nestor Cortez against Shane Bieber. But the Yankees off on the right foot there. So good win for the Yankees, solid win. Get a lot of stuff to be happy about. happy to see Cole have a really good performance. Good to see Rizzo got the home run. Again, in the past for the Yankees, they're always too right-handed in the playoffs. They always get mowed down. Good to see a left-handed batter, provide some offense for the Yankees. And, of course, the Yankee bullpen, just got the job done. Wasn't, I guess probably the only dominating of the three would you say would be Wandy Peralta, because he pretty much got all the outs of all the batters he faced, but just enough from Loaiza and Holmes just to make to keep Cleveland just with one run on the board, which was just that one Kwan home run. So it wasn't like Cleveland put a pounding on on the Yankee pitching. It was just from one home run, threatened a few times, but the Yankees were able to get out jams when need be. So good first game. Again, we'll catch you up after the second one. So again, if you want to get these little wrap ups and little thoughts and opinions and whatnots, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Section 420 Talkin Yankees is exclusive for you podcast subscribers, and hopefully after this next episode we're 2-0 up in the series.